take a look at the euro dollar for the upcoming August the 28th session. And again, the euro is very different than the pound in that it's a lot of consolidation. You can see the grinding still to the upward side. And as we get down to the 1 hour chart here, we've had this explosion. I want you to notice, though, this explosion that happened late day here in New York yesterday. We're going to extend this line out, hopefully. We'll just put a new one in. There we go. And we're going to take this line, move it up just a little bit so it's a little bit more exact. I want you to notice something here. We were in this channel that we were looking at yesterday, and we did have a little bit of a break below it, and then it just rocketed up. We'll take a look about that on a little bit on the 30-minute chart here. But it just blew up completely. Look at that 42, 45 area, all the way up to the 43. 95, so about 150 pips in an hour, just really a huge move. However, in that huge move, we spiked across this resistance line, and we haven't had the commitment to keep going that way. And so what we're going to watch for tonight are two things. We're going to look for a close below this low here on the 30-minute chart to go short. And we're going to look for a close above this high here on the 30-minute chart to go long. So let's take it down to the 30-minute chart right now. And as you can see, because this is a very small trend line here, not a lot of commitment. What would be nice if we have a 1, 2, 3 top that comes in here, and we'd be selling below this on a close of the 30-minute chart. The other thing that we'd be thinking of is here's a high, a rally, a break above these highs, and we could be looking for a close on the 30-minute chart above these highs to continue long. The other area you might consider is these highs right here, because we've had some tweezer tops recently in the last couple hours. A 30-minute close above here only if you're going to take some profit off the table up here. So that would be maybe 20, 25 pips as you're taking some profit up here and then going to see if it's going to continue to run to the upside. So the two trades for the euro dollar tonight are really a close on the 30-minute below this number 2 point on maybe this 1, 2, 3 top, or close on the 30-minute chart above these tweezer top highs, taking some profit off the top as you go here. And then if we get a close above these highs on the 30-minute chart, we'd go long. Also, if price comes up to these highs that we see right in this area, and it holds and begins to fall off, we would want to draw a trend line from that period. We'd want to draw a trend line up there, and then we would take a 30-minute close below that trend line if it should begin to hang up at that level. So that, again, that's 4 possible trades. A break above here, this level here, a break above this level for buying opportunities, a sell if price holds up in that area, again with the trend line break as we've imagined out here in the future, and a sell below this number 2 point here on a possible 1, 2, 3 top. So right now, we're right in the middle. It's best to wait for one of those 4 scenarios. We have 2 buy scenarios, 2 sell scenarios setting up on the euro dollar. So that's going to be a wrap for the euro dollar for this week, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Let's take a look at the pound dollar for the upcoming August 28th session. First off, we want to just take a look at the daily chart. And again, there was that close below the daily chart. We had a push down yesterday, and then we've had a pull back up. And so basically, when we take this down to a 1-hour chart, you can see that we're retesting the backside of that trend line. And if you take a look at where we are on the water line and with the MACD, it's pretty much saying it's become slightly bullish, but you can see how it's still in the histogram here and right pretty close near to the water line. So it's still saying neutral, which means that we could again initiate a downtrend. So what we're going to do for the pound dollar, it's fairly simple. We're going to go down here to this 30-minute chart. There's our lines from yesterday that broke down. And we're going to have a very, very steep trend line here. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch for a couple things on the 30-minute chart. It's going to be very simple for the pound dollar. We're going to look for a close above this moving average and into the daily trend line to go long, because it would be above these highs. And that would be a continuation of this rally that happened end of day yesterday. The other thing we're going to watch for is a close below this trend line here on the 30-minute chart, and we're going to look for price to continue in a downward motion. Now, as you can see, the histograms had little momentum during these last several half hours or hours. Little momentum with this move up and down, up and down. So what we do want to wait for again is a close above this exponential moving average on a 1-hour chart to go long, because again, it's above these highs, above the daily trend line, and above that 200 EMA here on the 30-minute chart. And the other trade that we want to look for that is a sell would be a close on the 30-minute chart, a candle close on the 30-minute chart below this trend line. Again, we're going to be looking for it to continue on down. That could be a great way to get into this overall move, because as you remember, we closed below the daily trend line here. And this could be just a retest before a further move down, maybe a test of the 200-day exponential moving average. So that's it for the pound dollar. It's a wrap. Look forward to having more of you tune in for the pound dollar next week. Let's take a look at the dollar Swiss for the upcoming August the 28th session. And as you can see, much like the euro dollar, we're in a lot of consolidation in here. The difference is the euro dollar is grinding up, and we're just in a channel continuation pattern here sideways on the dollar Swiss on the daily chart. Again, up and down, up and down. And we've had that same explosion in price downward on the dollar Swiss that we saw upward on the euro dollar. But again, it didn't break and commit out of any significant levels here. And it's created, again, a big spike. So if you happen to look at the video on the euro dollar, it's very similar. We're going to be looking for the same couple trades. Number one, a close below this low here, this spike on the 30-minute chart, we'd be going short. Just in case we might have a 1, 2, 3 bottom, we would take a buy above this point on the 30-minute chart. Now, a little bit different than the euro, we don't have tweezer tops or anything like that. The only other trade, on the euro dollar, we had 4 possible trades, 2 buys and 2 sells. 2 buy scenarios, again, would be number one, close on the 30-minute chart above this, thinking that we might have a 1, 2, 3 bottom. The other buying opportunity would be if price came down to this low here, and again, imagining that there'd be a trend line for that into the future, somewhere over here, we'd get a close above the trend line as it began to hold in this area, close above that trend line of the 30-minute and look to go long. The only selling opportunity, again, that we'd be looking for right now is a close below this low right here on the 30-minute chart, and from there we'd be looking to go long. Right now, a close below here on the 30-minute chart, not a real fan of, because this could be a very wicky period. Up and down, there could be a lot of volatility in this area, given the fact you can see all this price action and resistance in here. So very simple for the dollar Swiss for the upcoming August 28th session. That'll be a wrap for it. We look forward to seeing you next week with this pair. Let's take a look at the dollar yen for the upcoming August the 28th session. And there's an expression my grandmother used to use that you can't get blood out of a turnip. You can't squeeze blood out of a turnip. And if you look at the dollar yen, it has been a turnip recently, just up and down, you can see. Probably the only trade I would be looking at for the dollar yen, really for the upcoming session, and we're not even going to go to the higher time frames, is if we happen to hold up at this level here. As you can see, this is the previous support level, hold it as resistance, and to break below this nice little trend line that we have here on the hourly chart, and a close below this trend line on the 30-minute chart. That would be the only trade I'd be looking at on the dollar yen. Not interested in buying above these highs because of all this congestion. It could just bounce all over the place. I would simply be looking for this to hold, retest a previous support as resistance. Nice trend line. This is the cleanest line we have on this chart right now for the last day or so. And a close below this on the 30-minute chart, and selling, taking some profit off as we go down here every 20 to 30 pip, every 20, 25 pips, because of the congestion. You can see all the price action that's just caught in this area. Not much more than that I'm interested in looking at the dollar yen. Again, this has been a slow week. Hopefully that you understand that and you can appreciate that. And sometimes it's better to sit on the sidelines. Looking forward to some more price action next week. There should be some good volatility, a lot of non-farm payroll, a lot of news announcements. So maybe we'll get some nice trade setups. So we look forward to seeing you next week back on this pair, and that'll be a wrap for the dollar yen.